Good evening. You're listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I'm your host, Rob, broadcasting to you as usual from the Pine Hills Palace, just west of Orlando, Florida. I have here with the Extreme Studios from the Great Midwest One, RDV. And RDV, tonight we're continuing our coverage of Miami Vice Season 1, Episode 4, the two-parter, Calderone's Return, a.k.a. the hit list. I want to say this as far as the episodes we've been talking about in general as people start filing in the chat. Always love the show. We talked about how beautiful it looks, how pretty things are, dated, if you want to call it that way, period piece, and that's fine. I want to sit there and say that after watching this episode, it was amazing how I haven't seen this in 40 years since it came on, and I'm just completely shocked how I remembered almost all of it as it went on in certain scenes, and this was the episode for me that cemented me as a show to watch when I watched it in reruns back in 1984, 85, as it were, too. But interesting episode. I'm looking forward to diving into it. What's your initial take?
Initial take of this is when I first watch it, you know, unless you look at the title before you click on it, you have no idea. All you know, this is episode 4, or and you don't know that it's Calderone's return. Because the way they started out is I love it. It's just with him shaving, but overall, we still don't have the electric guitar, synthesizer in there. Yeah. So I was looking for it again, like, it's still in here. So, so it starts out like pretty good. I really enjoy this. For this initial take on this, so it's like I'm still hooked from the last one, and now we know that Calderone, he's gonna come back sometime, So when I first watched this, I had no idea I did not pay attention to titles. I was on Tubi and auto play on, so I just skip on to the next one. Just keep going. So I'm watching this and I'm thinking like, okay, this is actually really good. I like the opening. It's literally like a Gillette commercial where a man could be a man. I love it, and just fantastic. Music in this is great. So I'm already liking this going into this. When I first watched this last year, watched it again today, and literally it's like everything just came rushing back. Because if you ask me, like, without me going and looking at this, looking in the photos, I'm like, oh, I don't know what this is. Calderone's Return. Okay, I don't know. I remember until I see that image of the guy, the hitman thing, that it all floods back, and it's great.
You had mentioned last episode about how when we were talking about different characters, Zito and Switek, and then the two girls and everything, and all that, how they're side characters. And I think they did do the right thing here for a few episodes, establishing the two leads being kind of like co-equals and working together.
Yes.
I think it was kind of smart here early on to do this Calderone's thing, because at this point I'm not even thinking about him, because it's like, what's the episode of the week?
Because
so it's good that they do it, but here's the thing that surprised me, that just kind of made me go, wow.
Yeah.
This entire episode, to me, you've got the perfect thumbnail for it, because the strength of the assassin here, who does not speak at all, is very haunting. This is probably the scariest. Not that it's terrifying, but in terms of like fear or dread, I think this nails it. And I do have a few sides that I know I included that we'll go through here as we start the episode too. But that's off to this guy, because all I'll sit there and say is, for everybody in here, I did not realize it till later after the episode. I looked it up.
Yeah,
this is the guy that Michael Mann hired, who also he had him in Thief to show him all the gun stuff. This is
Manhunter.
Manhunter, and this is where Collateral, the famous Tom
Jim
Cruise,
Zubiena.
Yeah, and he's still alive today, or what? Like very humble sounding guy. And so really impressed by his performance in here.
Yes, this is a guy. He's a world-class marksmanship, a guy, and he basically knows his guns. And after seeing him in a few competition stuff, Michael Mann's like, dude, I'm having you come on here, And this episode really showcases him using his gun. We'll see it if you haven't. Well, I don't have a slide for it, but there's a scene there where he's at the limo, and this guy cops like, hey, you just killed the guy with a shotgun. He's like, put the gun down. So he puts the gun down. He's like, hands over here, hand over your head. And as soon as the cop turns his head, he quick runs down and quickly fires from the hip.
2 shots to the body, 1 to the head. The Mozambique technique, I believe.
Yep.
Same thing in Collateral, except for Collateral, he had 2 opponents. It was the second opponent that he puts the 3 bullets in. So it's the exact same thing. And it came from here first because of this guy, because of Michael Mann, not Tom Cruise.
And I'm just thinking, for shooting from the hip, I think of that guy. He's like, see that kind up there? Ding!
Yeah, trick shooter. Yeah.
Trick shooters. That's exactly. And that's why I was like, oh, it's so impressive.
All right, well, let's go through some of these slides and see what we got.
I'll just say this. Everything, the gunfire was all done on one try. It wasn't multiple tracks.
Yes.
And you know what I do? I'll put the comments on here so people can actually see themselves.
There you go. Christina Vega saying hello.
Hello.
I like how you blew that up.
All right. And so first slide, like I said, obviously this show, I want to talk about this. We got the Scotch, the brand marketing right there, 1984. That's what they're using, the record, listen to people. You have
realistic. That was Radio Shack.
Yep. Yeah, and so you got in the hotel room across from this nice luxury hotel, you have Sonny and you have Tubbs, and they're listening on let's find this guy because they're hoping this guy can he's a coke dealer, hoping that he'll basically say something to his girlfriend, and they'll be able to get dirt on him. So, and of course, while they're doing this, Sonny's shaving, of course, but then we do look down. We see hey, Tubbs is looking at something. We're not sure what he's looking at, but and he's commenting about something, and then we quick cut over to we got Sonny who's shaving with a cigarette in his mouth, a lit cigarette, because that was manliness back then in 1984.
He's not quite the straight razor, but that's what we'd call like a straight edge razor, not a disposable.
Yeah, I love it.
Those are good shaves.
Yeah, of course. Then we get to see, what is Tubbs looking at? He's watching the girls walk down. And he's like, he's like, I love. He's like, the surveillance thing isn't that bad, Well,
this is the building that I think we see in a part of the opening credits when we're zooming on a downtown part there on Bell Avenue and everything, Bayshore front or whatever it is. It's the one that's kind of square that has like the opening in it too. And I thought that was pretty smart that they're using some of those locations.
Yeah. There only was one scene after that, after he looked at all the girls, is that Switek and Zito show up, and Tubbs and basically Sonny leave. Then Switek sits down. He looks in the telescope. He's like, he sees what Tubbs was looking at the whole time. So he kind of sees girls. Zito went in the bathroom. He's like, hey Zito. He's like, this girl, look, this girl's naked. Zito runs in there. He's like, oh, wait, my mistake. She still got her clothes on. And it's like, he missed it. It's like, it's just the guys being guys,
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to be their relationship. That's the most we've seen out of those two so far in all these episodes.
But I love this next scene though. And after we get the credits rolling, we have the nice close up of the Ferrari. I love these angles. This is a Michael Mann classic.
Yeah.
Always shows up nice cameras. They're driving to the courthouse because, Sonny has to go meet divorced.
Yeah.
And I love that top side, like even said, is like, oh, look, because Sonny's like, how do I look? He's like, you look like, hey, you shaved. Yeah, you look like a guy getting divorced.
Yeah. Guys being guys, ball busting.
And of course, he sees his current wife before, and then he's with the smug lawyer. And we've seen this. Well, she's a nice girl. Now we've seen other movies that shows like where it turns out she's banging the lawyer. She's right. But she's actually Belinda Montgomery, I think her name is just a very much a sweetheart throughout this whole entire series. Unlike most other TV show wives we come across in the later years, where they're complete bitch.
Well, they definitely try. So, I mean, the cop thing, and the life and how it catches up to you and all that stuff, that's pretty standard.
Touch on that. The reason why
people where they actually care for each other, at least now initially, it's not horrible. It's a little different for the time.
This is one of the probably the hardest, or at least the most emotional episodes that you're going to come across early in the season, because now we talked about he got served last episode. Now this episode he's finally realizing he might have a chance. He's going to lose his wife, but part of him doesn't want to lose her, but apparently he kind of wants to move on. But all these emotions come around because now he's like, well, let me give it one more try. And of course, this is also the first episode we get to see. Tubbs is going to drive the Ferrari. It is usually a no-no.
I have no idea what style of sunglasses those are.
Ray-Bans?
No. These are more designer type, higher end ones or whatever. I can't tell, but those are pretty friggin' stylish.
Yeah, I like them. You're going to see a lot of the sunglasses throughout this episode.
Yeah.
So after this, he goes to drive away. And then we get the zoom of the courthouse right there. And it says Calderone's return. I love this, how it's placed right there. We've seen stuff like this when they come zoom in. It's also like Ghostbusters does this in '84 when they show the public library as they zoom in and go up the steps.
Yes.
I love when they start doing camera techniques like this.
Yeah, they definitely, with the heights that they have in the buildings here in Miami Vice, they do definitely have some of those establishing shots and a lot of zoom ins, which will come up later in the episode.
So Sonny goes up to talk to his wife in this next slide here. And he's saying, he's like, do we really need that scumbag lawyer? I thought we're both adults here, and stuff, Well,
the thing about it, too, is, I don't think it's that intentional. And a South white linen or a cream-colored linen and all that was something. But it made me think, if you didn't know anything about these two looking at, one, she's beautiful in this, a very nice summer dress.
She's both amazing.
I go, it looks like they're getting married. So I don't know if that's it. But honestly, seriously, I put it in here because look at his hair.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, the suit that he's wearing too, everything.
Yeah.
And the guy behind him's got the big beard, 70s beard, but he's got the light suit on because that's what you wore, when you're down to the tropical areas.
I did want to ask you though, and that's one of the reasons why I put this slide in, was that he already banged Gina, and she's kind of not wanting to get too involved, but now he's getting back with his wife here.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because that didn't come up really in the episode.
No. So it is seen later on. That he's kind of like, we'll talk. Well, at this point, we haven't seen Gina's reaction, but it's in the next coming slides.
Yes.
But so he's like, him. He's like, hey, maybe I thought maybe the reality is basically explains there. I never thought this would happen. Maybe we can give it one more try and stuff. So of course they do. They end up immediately knocking boots.
Mm-hmm.
This is also during basically where we have the first. While this is going on, Switek and Zito see the drug guy. Pretty much, he's the cook dealer goes down to his limo, and the driver comes out, and we get and he pretty much pulls out the shotgun and shoots the guy point blank. Zito hears this, runs down. Another cop that's undercover with them that just randomly runs up there, tries to stop him. The guy ends up getting shot from the hip, and killed. And then there's this whole entire car chase going through, and it's nice because you're seeing from the car, the driver's side, front, and you're looking back the whole entire time during the chase. And you see the car, Zito and Switek chasing him in the car, and then we also get Tubbs and them figure out where this guy's hotel is, and they go after him. There's this whole stinger operation going on throughout these scenes. But after this, after they talked about it, they kind of, wondering what's going on. This is where we get, and I ran out of room for slides, but there's a knock on the door. It's Tubbs, and then he's got his boss there, and I forgot what his boss name is. I think it's
Dead Man Walking.
Shh. Don't spoil. Lou Rodriguez is pretty much there, and you see the close. And while they're looking here, this is, and they pan back to Belinda, and she's a side profile view, and she's just kind of like she's remembering why she wants to divorce him.
Yep.
And just they thought they could have this magic moment there, but then it's ruined. In reality, comes sinking back in. So you're like, oh, he's doomed, and you kind of want to hate the girl because bro. It's like you married into a cop. What did you expect was going to happen? Apparently, she wasn't tough enough. But here's the thing, though. It's I respect her if she allows him to keep the kid where he can still see the kid. I don't like this where they move across the whole entire state or country, and then you're like, well, how am I supposed to go see my kid if I'm working? My job.
He even says to her, hey, Atlanta's only an hour, plane ride away.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
He basically already is yeah, screw it, I'm done. And
yeah.
The thing here is the random drug dealer that they're watching's got some info or whatever.
Yeah.
And it turns out this notebook that he's handing him, having him take a look at it, a bunch of names are in there, and they're all crossed off. And he's like the next one, him and one other name.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, the hit's out on you, bro.
Yep. So then they go back to the police station, and we get the CCC. And I kid you not, I never dawned on me. This is where my Jim Carrey got Ace Ventura. From Zito. Swoop in the hair, the shirt, everything, the gun thing. That's where when you watch Ace Ventura, it's exactly the outfit.
I don't know that, but it
has to
sense.
be. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you wear the white, because that was always Zito's key thing. He's always wearing those weird shirts, Hawaiian shirts. And then he had the white beater underneath it, or tank top. So, so they're looking over the name stuff, and eventually we get to where Sonny doesn't want to he doesn't want to go into protection, He wants to go fight the guy. He can find him. And the lieutenant's not having it. Gina's just kind of like, shit, I'm getting out of here.
Well, you know why I picked this slide? Because if you go from left to right, and remember this is shot, I think, in 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 adult heads all lined up in the exact same spot, all there in one shot. And I thought, this seemed like a really complicated
photograph
thing to film or whatever. I don't know. It was just weird looking, but there's some interesting shots that we don't normally see, and I think that made me feel a little uneasy watching it. And I'll mention some of that a little bit later. But I just thought it was interesting how he's standing way in the back. How do you catch this and film this when he's up close here by that old school dot matrix printer?
So I'm assuming they probably had the camera just kind of zooming to the right. Well, everybody kind of stayed still.
And everybody's staying on their marks. Yeah, that's not easy to do with 7, 8, 9 people in this room.
And then you had the randoms in the background walking.
That's my point, right? They're all randos. They're just, here, carry this, we here on this queue and go.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of cool. So then we're like, well, they're talking and this.
Coffee, donuts, and chromium steel.
Someone's got a gun and a donut. And then it cuts to the coffee cup, the glasses, and a bullet you can see in there. You're like, what the heck's going on? But of course, Gina ends up I think it's Gina or Zito. I think it was Zito hands a fax to Tubbs.
Mm-hmm.
You got the scan, the names, and like, who do we see here in the second from the left? Calderone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Tubbs is like, his face gets really agitated because he killed his brother, and I'm like, thank you for not doing a 20-second flashback again. But so after this, we get to basically Lieutenant Lou Rodriguez and basically Crockett go back to his boat because he needs to grab some stuff, and of course, someone's there with a high-powered rifle.
This scene here with the zooming in of the bell tower and him checking out, this is just really great.
Yeah. So we see, the next thing we see him, he's got the line of the scope there. Yep. And basically the lieutenant sees a flash of the bell tower, and there's also a phone call ringing on his boat. Who's calling him? He doesn't know. So he's going to go grab the phone. And of course, after seeing the flash, Lou kind of like basically ducks in front of him. You see I love this. Next scene, you see the finger on the trigger, pulling the trigger.
Well, I assume that's a single bolt action, right?
It is a bolt action rifle. This,
because those are extremely accurate, I thought, in old school, and for the mid '80s, I imagine that was.
These are your Vietnam rifles,
Yeah,
they would use for single, or Springfield. Actually, in World War II, a lot of those.
Yeah.
Of course, what happens? Well, sorry, I went backwards. Lou ends up pushing Crockett away, and then you see him. He's like, "Lou, where are you?" He comes over, and the other guy on the boat is like, "Hey, Crockett, look!" The guy has like a cross eye thing going there, like a opposite cross eye. It took me out of the scene for a second, but then you go like, Lou's like, I can't remember what he said. I think it's, I can't remember. I think he said Calderone or something. I can't remember something like that.
He said Rosebud.
Eat it, Joes. Did I shit my shorts? Ketchup everywhere.
Redskins at 27. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think I left the stove on. They're like, you're watching the first time. It's like, oh shit, the police lieutenant, he's dead now. Oh, that's unheard of. The first 4 episodes.
Well, the actor wanted out, and they accommodated, which is fine because it's actually an upgrade. But here's the thing I want to say about him. I never not liked him. I never hate him. I thought he was fine, but to me, he was just there.
Well, this is also where we got to see him actually being nice to Crockett.
Yeah.
For the first, he was actually being, they butt heads. He was actually showing more of a father figure thing. Like, I was like, oh man, like they made him have a nice scene with Crockett. You're dying.
Yeah.
It's like, so they get to the hospital, and the doctor comes out and says, like, sorry, your husband's dead. It's like, do you think he's still the chance? No, you shot. It's like he wanted out his contract. And after seeing this, Crockett hugs the wife, green wife, but then he goes, and then he's livid. He wants revenge. He wants to go and kill the hitman.
This is a good scene here. I'm glad you put this. Is great.
Yeah. And he just slams up. He's like, dude, you're going to hot headed. He's like, your name's on the list. This is serious bullshit business. You can't just go run around, let your anger get the best of you. It's
he overpowers Sonny emotionally here.
I love it. And it's just continue their power struggle. The last time, when he tried to call him out, he's like, oh, I mean, just like you, just want revenge.
Yeah, I think Tubbs won that one.
Yeah. So, and Tubbs has also got that weird energy bracelet on. Remember those are popular?
Yeah, this actor, I think he's done some singing back in the day too. He's like a really spiritual kind of guy. He's he literally is like the opposite, or whatever like that. I don't really know him in anything else other than the show. I'm not saying he hasn't done stuff, but I do remember him singing or being interviewed and going, wow, the guy's really out there, and that's kind of cool. That's fine. It's just he's his own unique character. He definitely stands out to me.
Right. So
then we get on the bracelet there. I just saw that. Went, wait a minute, I didn't notice that before.
Well, Crockett's got the nice bling, Rolex or something. It is golden Rolex.
It's probably a Seiko, but we'll find out later.
Oh. All right, and then of course we get another close up of the car because I cannot just pass up these scenes. When I saw this, I was like, I'm showing this off because this is awesome.
That's right.
I love it. Yeah, random car parked under a giant tree over there, and then you get the building in the background, and there's all the cars behind them, traffic.
But that's real, and they don't. I mean, there's probably some light coming from the trailer that's dragging the car, which is typically how you shoot these here. Sometimes you mount a camera and they're driving, but and Don Johnson's a legit boat driver, so I'm sure he could drive a lot of the car stuff as well. I just love. For me, I don't know, maybe it's a Central Florida thing or whatever because this is South Florida, but I love just looking at the way this is filmed in the summer when it came out. And looking at the sky, like when it's in the afternoon, and the way it gets a certain kind of gray here when it builds up over the Gulf of America and the Atlantic Ocean, and then we get our afternoon storms here in Florida. That's what it looks like. It's just beautiful. Very few shows do this, and you feel like you're out there.
I'm not sure what that building is, but it looks like the NBA kind of logos on there, red, white, and blue. So I don't know. That might be a sports complex or something like that.
I'm guessing that's a bank. I can't quite read that. I do know that some people on some website have put like in every episode, every location they've been and what it looks like then and now.
Yeah.
I don't go through them too much, but that just looks like a random road there. And
they're probably on that one website, the Phantom website we were looking at. Probably listed, but
maybe
may not. If it's not a key thing, they're not getting out. But a lot of times, if they show like a giant building, a hospital stuff, or hotel, those are the ones they show, or the dock. So then we finally get to our final and third guest star on this episode, Mr. Ron Taylor. And if you guys don't know who Ron Taylor is, later on in The Simpsons, he has 2 episodes. He's Bleeding Gum Murphy, the guy with the saxophone.
Really? I never watched The Simpsons for the most part. Seriously.
Yeah, so the episode where Lisa learns how to play the saxophone is from Bleeding Gum Murphy. I think it's inspired by him.
So I put this scene in for a specific reason. A couple comments on it because I think in this whole episode that's got some great scenes in it, I think this is the scariest scene, even though they're just people standing around.
Wow.
So in the background there where it says great movies where they park, he's basically the last guy on a list, and they strong arm to sit there and say, hey, you're going to be dead. I don't know what's going to go on, but we're going to have you still call him up and set up this meeting. Because what it is all these mid guys are trying to like grow and be the man. And so they're all getting killed off because that's Calderone making his playback, right?
Yeah.
By hiring this assassin. And so they're trying to find out, what's going on. And this guy is a fucking pimp with 4 gold chains, the jerry curl he's working. He's great. But here's the thing. It's not a single camera shot, but on the right-hand side there, they're walking all the way here. And a lot of older parts of like Central Florida and South Florida and other places in Florida look like this with the palm trees, but those kinds of hedges and all this kind of stuff. And they're walking. And I liked the buildup of what I thought was the best shot. You have them walking and talking, and you see the kids running and playing. You see Sonny kind of having PTSD, looking up at all the windows for sniper stuff or whatever. They get here, he's on point while those two are talking. Then when it ends there and they go to walk back towards that right path to go the exact same way they came, the camera is the assassin there, just like eating ice cream with the glasses.
You're skipping the part because there as they're walking and Sonny, old guy goes behind them. You see him walking up behind him. Yes. And Sonny pulls his gun out. He's like, and the guy's, whoa, you just dropped your cigarettes. And
they
like,
don't say a word.
Tubbs is kind of like sorry a little bit, to the guy. Yeah. And as they're walking, then he saws, that's
you got it. Okay, no, that's awesome. This is because this guy here on the right, that's the shooter. This is the guy that's responsible for a lot of the shooting and Michael Mann stuff. Going back to Thief, years before this, right? And like we said, Collateral and everything else there too. This guy's the real deal. But you know what? He's an average-looking guy, and that's the thing about the show. It looks real, like you could just walk out here in the middle of the street where they're at, right? And this guy looks like a normal guy, right? But this guy doesn't talk. He doesn't speak. He's wearing the sniper glasses, the shooter glasses with the yellow tinge on them and all that. And we see a lot of members-only jackets in this episode as well, which is really a big thing for quite some time in the 70s, going through the 80s and all that. He doesn't have it on here. He's just got a polo. But you look at him, we're walking down the street, you won't think this guy's, Vietnam vet sniper or whatever he is. Seriously. This is actually terrifying and great. And it's a great shot, too, to let you know that the danger's right there.
Yeah. He looks like a guy that could have been in Rambo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Just an extra guy. He looks legit, Of course, so then Sonny ends up going into his wife and kid are put into protection, and so he goes to go visit them, and he finally he's talking to his wife, hey, it's something I need to do. I can't just sit here and wait, and stuff, while other people are putting their lives on the line. After this, you see him, he pretty much goes, his kid's playing on I don't have the photo, but his kid was building a sandcastle on a bucket, and he has a conversation with his kid, explains he has to go away and stuff, he'll be okay. He's like, take care of your mother, and stuff about being, teaching his kid, like, hey, you're going to be an adult, it's like, you got to be a grown up. Basically, he's a nice father-son kind of going on there.
Yeah. This, I think, even though I'm saying that the sniper scary scene is probably the best scene here. This is a scene I clearly remember watching over 40 years ago that hooked me emotionally onto the show, going, this is different, because I hadn't seen something like it before, and I'm younger. I'm a teenager, right? Because I thought, regardless of him sleeping with her, and it's a mistake, maybe it's breakup sex, whatever you want to call it, it's earnest, like it's a genuine relationship they have, and they don't come across as not being supportive of each other. It's just that it didn't work out. It's too late. There's nothing they can do. But the way they film this with them at the curve here, you see the officer in the background. Not that that's a big deal, but look at the way it's framed there, where you got half of the sky going halfway through the top part of your screen, and the bottom half is where they're standing. All that's perfectly centered artistically. It's not moving. It's a still shot. And look at the color of the ocean. That's what you get here in Florida. You go up to the Panhandle up there, it's even bluer, greener, and clearer. The best beaches on the planet. I know Hawaii's got some nice ones, but it's volcanic. So what are you really going to say? Maybe the Mediterranean. I'm telling you, Florida, bro. And this is the worst side. The east side of Florida, Daytona Beach, all the way down to Miami. Those are the worst looking beaches. They got more wake and stuff on them too. But to see this on television and just bring it into your room is just phenomenal. All that. This looks like Florida to me, man. You're just feeling it really big time here.
Yeah. So, of course, after this, he leaves, goes up, but then he goes back to, basically going to go enter their home, where she lives, because, and I think I don't think he got a phone call. He just happens to be walking back there, drive back there, you go talk to her because he hasn't heard from her. So he's and he enters the house and he sees, remember that coffee and the donut?
Yeah, because when you see, I'm not a donut guy. Donuts are disgusting, sir.
I'm
not
donuts.
A coffee guy. But
every single filthy crumb, I'll eat it twice.
Are you serious, bro?
Yes, bro.
Even this pink shit stuff here. Look at that. That's disgusting. Whoever
I won't eat it off the ground like that. That's kind of gross, but no.
Well, my only problem with this episode is this picture here. I love the fact that they put it on there on your regular 80s carpet and 80s furniture. But if you're a professional level assassin taking in all these mids, you're not going to make a fucking mistake like this, bro. I'm just saying.
Exactly. You're going to finish that donut and that coffee. And most of them on OCD, they don't want to make a mess.
She's walking in here.
A lot of them, yeah, a lot of them don't want to make a mess because they're neat freaks. They have OCD.
You know what I miss though? Styrofoam cups. I'm tired of all these fucking Yetis and designer stainless steel mugs.
They're this thermos. That's all they are. The big buddies, thermos.
Yeah. But this was go, oh shit, this is a great scene.
There was one scene though we saw originally when we first introduced to this assassin, he's leaning the limo in the front seat. He's putting on white plastic gloves.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, like, is that Midnight Run? We're thinking of. Well, no, the killer that would wear the gloves with Charles Bronson. I'm trying to remember what move that was. Was that Midnight Run?
No, that's not Midnight Run.
Or Messenger of Death? Can't remember what it was. Or 12 to Midnight. 12 to Midnight, I think was. Yeah, might have been that.
12 to Midnight, or yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's 12 to Midnight. With the guy who was going around, he wear the hospital gloves.
10 to Midnight, where he shoots him at the end.
Yeah. So I kept thinking, oh, he's putting the gloves on. So this is what this guy does. Whenever he holds a gun, he is always wearing those gloves, the surgical gloves doctors wear. So of course, seeing there's a huge gunfire scene, like going a shootout in this house. There's even a scene where we have Crockett shows up, helps him out, and the guy's got the Uzi and he's pretty much just firing away. And then he runs down the hallway, and we see Belinda Montgomery as Crockett's wife covering her daughter, or not their daughter, but their son. And I swear, like, you could tell this was 80s. This totally reminded me of Linda Hamilton when she's freaking out during the gunfight in the club.
Yeah,
same thing. I was like, oh, dude, so awesome with that.
And her house is an average middle class working, older Florida home that we'd comment on before, because it's the same house, right? So when he walks in, they just show like the really mid-level kind of dated 70s, 80s furniture, and you don't see anything, but that's where the guy's supposed to be looking. And then you see this, and then they have the shootout, and it's really confined space.
It reminded me of the same kind of front lawn scene we had in Lethal Weapon.
I can see it.
Your cookie cutter houses, instead of being a duplex, this is a single ranch motel kind of right. And so the bad guy jumps out the window, and of course all the cops are there, and he's like, "I'm gonna shoot my way," and they just kill him. All of them. Zito there. He's got Gina there. We got and just all of them. They just pretty much start shooting into the guy, and he's dead.
Members only representing.
Members only.
Right there.
That the members only. There can only be one. Of course, I included this in here because after all this, everybody's looking over and, hey, it's James Eder almost not the skin.
No, it looks like it, doesn't it? In the background there, behind Sonny.
Yeah. So we see him walking up. She's in the station wagon. That means she's packed and ready to go. Station wagon moms represent back in the day, 80s. That's all you knew was 80s. Oh, I love these cars.
Yeah.
Wood panel, everything.
Oh, yeah.
The nice leather seats.
Clark Griswold mobile.
Oh, my gosh, yes. Better off dead. Anyway, so he goes in there, got to talk, and she's like, it was a nice run, but we can't, but I don't feel safe. This is why we didn't work out this first time. And they kind of agree, and said, yeah, she's going to go to Atlanta, and it's just, they're going to keep in touch. But after this, he's confronted by Gina, who basically is kind of like, because
yeah.
Well, okay, Gina was kind of when he was originally, when we first went back to this scene here, where was it? Maybe I don't have it with me, but it is the office scene where they're all in there, the police station. He gets a phone call and stuff, and he's like, and she was kind of like, you could tell she was kind of like pissed a little bit because he went back to his wife. And I came across as basically after this scene here, we get to Gina, and she kind of like hung, and this is a bad still, because if you watch the scene, this is for a half second, And she pretty much, tells him, hey, you'll be all right, everybody okay, stuff. He's like, yeah, and
she's looking perky in here.
Exactly. She's looking like she's like, life's finally gone. I can move in, make my mark. And he's like, okay.
She strikes me as old school, proper Catholic girl. Yeah, I don't know if that's her actual character would write that, but she approaches it and all that.
She's an
remember she was dressed this way, her and Trudy, because the black guy Linus or whatever like that. He's basically, this is when they established these two women as working undercover as escorts, and he's a pimp. Yep.
And of course, we also get to see us also too. I love this because cops wearing their piece under the holster and stuff outside of wearing their shirt. This became cool. Otherwise, a lot of times you see the guys wear they always have the long sleeve dress shirts with the tie and stuff like you see in the 40s and 50s and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is kind of cool, relax. This is the 80s. John McClane's gonna do it in a tank top white beater. Yeah, later on. And just liking this scene. So after he's got gun insurance, he's like, okay, well, my wife may be gone, but I still got a booty call at work. I don't know how HR proves that, but
there was an HR back then.
Exactly. See, exactly. You know what HR was back then? A home run if he scored.
Boss is female. I'm getting a raise.
So they get in the car, and they now have condones, no boats. And Sonny says to him, it's only 60 miles away. It ain't too long. You want to go? Heck yeah, let's go. And they leave it on a cliffhanger. Then they're driving away. Continued.
Yeah, so it looks like we'll be going to the Bahamas next episode. But take care of Calderone once and for all, perhaps.
But I love this scene though. This still of him though, because you see Sonny. He's just like this. Calderone cost him his last chance at being happy with his wife. And trying to save in that marriage, even though he's fooling himself because it wasn't going to work out. Something else would have happened. But he's pissed beyond piss. And Tubbs has been ready to go since he got that fax, and
so, because the comment Tubbs had made earlier in the episode was that when Gina's talking to him about recognizing the informants that work for Calderone and all that, she's like, well, why didn't you think, he recognized you? And he goes, maybe they just thought I was a mid-level guy and Sonny's the main man down here in Miami. Because remember, he came down here to Florida to avenge, was it his brother, his partner, whatever, and all that too. So they both have a personal vested interest in taking Calderone out.
Yeah. They were also, they're interrogating the guy inside the police room, and Tubbs is going to get him, just basically laying into him. Other characters in here, Garcia's son, Billy Crockett, played by Ryan St. Leon. I don't know if he's done anything else since then. This might have been a minor role for him. You had Felix Castranova, Susan Castranova. Those two. I think those were the coke guy and whatever. Carlos Mendez. These are all this character names, but it was. I love this though, because you go on this one website. I'm gonna say I love the fan websites because some people are so intricate when it comes to this. And I'll just read off. There was a guy who played a policeman. I'm not sure what scene made in the random background. He's William Wolfe. The civilian who found Crockett cigarettes, Bobby Harwell.
Mm-hmm.
You would never know that unless you did a deep dive. Maybe you didn't know that, so maybe you heard it first. But Miami Vice, I think it's called MiamiVice.fandom, has a lot of information if you want to really deep dive. But
so you did a deep dive on this rando.
Oh, I do a deep dive on all these randos, bro. Call me Randy Deep Dive. Or Deep Dive Randy.
What's he known for?
I don't know.
Oh, you're going.
No, I'm just saying. I was going there in credit though. I don't think these are just guys who just ran. It's the one thing I love. Said IMDb. IMDb is really good at this too. We have this conversation with Pixel and I have with you. When it comes to you listing credits in movies or TV shows, Columbo, I noticed that difference between me and Pixel, and it's not a knock on him. Maybe he doesn't think their schedules, maybe doesn't have time or forgets about it. But on IMDb, there's people who have photos and there's people who don't have photos. Those are usually the people who are not really recognized or kind of credited. So I always include those when we do our reviews here and put them in the synopsis stuff, the description under the video. And So I kind of like the fact that these people are getting credit. Guy gives them cigarettes. Me, I never did anything else, but he'll always remember for that. I'm the guy who gave Crockett cigarettes. He pulled a gun on me, Or sometimes they turn out to be, they might be someone who actually appeared in several other shows before this, and he's just making a guest appearance, but he wasn't a big guest name.
Yeah. One thing I also want to mention too is, we talk about, music and all that. So one of the songs in here, I think it's one of the first ones, is I'm So Excited by the Pointer Sisters.
Yes.
The Pointer Sisters had, I think it was a number one hit or top 10 hit called Jump earlier in 1984. And the reason why I know that is because 1984 was the year I remember 1980 Olympics a little bit as a child. But for me as a teenager, seeing the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, where last time we won gold with amateurs and a lot of sports, for say basketball and stuff, it was really interesting because that was like really, really hot at the time. It'd be like, imagine if you're doing a Miami Vice episode and like 2 years ago you had Weekend and Blinding Lights while they're driving somewhere. I mean, that's how close they are. ZZ Top, if you know who they are, that's when they're in the strip club or whatever like
Legs.
that. That's Tush.
Yeah.
Tush. But Legs was the hit earlier in the year. And that In the Night, I think Ace Frehley had covered. I recognized that guy. And I did do a deep dive on that song, because not only did I know the song, when I saw who wrote it, Russ Ballard, this guy's written a bunch of stuff from the 60s and 70s, massive hits that you wouldn't know unless you're an 80s guy like me or whatever. But it's one of those things where the one thing I really appreciate about so far with what they've done with Miami Vice is it's not a budget thing, because Reacher and a bunch of shows, they spend a lot of money. That doesn't mean you get quality, but you got a great shooter who makes the episode. You've got a lot of emotional stuff going on here with the leads or whatever. They're not playing it just good enough where it'll be acceptable. They're really almost going the opposite direction here, but they've got the music and everything. It fucking works.
Like I said, subplot, that Brother's Keeper, that opening, oh wow, the music hits stuff, and so I granted there, I'm sold, when they're driving the car. And that's why I kept it up above me. I have if you're watching the vertical, I have the little thumbnail there, and I keep that because that's literally Miami Vice for the first season.
Yes.
So them working their way to finally get Calderone one way or another, and it's kind of like an ongoing subplot. And like I said, even though you don't really, you kind of forget about it until all of a sudden it's like, whoa, because this comes up. Now in syndication, this Calderone's return was basically one 2-hour movie, but they broke it up actually, like it was originally just 2 episodes when it first aired. And like I said, this has been a fun series to go back. Because I'm always worried about when I watch something and I go back to watch again. Sometimes like, oh, I don't really want to watch this, but this is a show I can go back and watch. I only watched it like a year ago, and I'm still kind of watching the 3rd season right now. And it's just fantastic. I said the Michael Mann, very much detailed to camera angles. Now we do have goofs, where hubcaps reappear, which I like. Everybody shits on the room for the half cup, and then the full cup, then it's half the cap again. Like, but I kind of like that, And the way it's done is that you don't even really notice it,
Also remember, and this is a late night Friday night filler-in show. It hadn't even really been picked up. But you think about it, the quality of what they produced back then for 20 to 23, 24 episodes every year for years at a time, to me is still more awesome than whatever you can do now. And what you get 6, 8, maybe 10, if you're lucky, maybe 12 or 13 episodes. And then you might not see the show for 2 years. I mean, on all these streaming services, it's a joke. I mean, you can pump out the quality and still have high level stuff. And this show, Miami Vice, definitely proves it.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts?
Final thoughts. If you are not hooked if you're not watching this series, we're only 4 episodes in, so you have a chance to go back and catch up on it. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. You can buy per season if you want to. Go through Voodoo. I believe you can just buy the seasons. I'm not sure they have a bundle, but I would recommend, though, if you can, just buy the Blu-ray, buy the whole box set if you can. That's fantastic. As far as I know, there's no quality issues at all when they transfer it over the Blu-ray.
No, Blu-ray's fantastic. The music's still there. All that stuff is there.
The license crediting on stuff. You don't have to worry about. Now the problem you have to worry about is if you watch it on some sort of like Netflix, Netflix just cheap, doesn't want to pay the rights.
Yep.
And for the music, so they'll switch the music out. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Or they'll just mute it. But luckily, though, you can find this anywhere. This is this very popular series, and very much like Columbo, you guys are reviewing on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. East or 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
There's every episode is a celebrity guest, pretty much,
and a heavyweight.
Yes.
Because that show's a first watch for me. I've seen a few episodes in the 80s or 90s, and I think, just being on because my parents used to watch it. So I said, it's one of those things I wanted to give it a shot, and it's been smart writing when they don't do camp and goof, which they don't do most of the time. It's phenomenal, and the most recent episode's one of the better ones.
Miami Vice is also one of the very first shows that really just brought in a lot of the MTV music, artists, music videos and stuff.
It is the first.
Yeah. It literally just gave, if your song, say on MTV, that's great. But if it hit Miami Vice at that time, when it blew up, you were just selling records. Lionel Richie has the next episode all night long.
Interesting.
Which helped blow that up too, as well. I was just like, dang, and it's just, I love the fact that there's no racial tensions in this whatsoever,
No. No.
Which was, it's shocking, right? Considering what we had like the past, 15 years of just, hey, everything's racist, or everything's always been racist, that people don't talk about it. It's like, not for the most part.
I see two cops working together, with some common interest, and the
common interest
here, is once they deal with Calderone, then it's going to settle into their new boss and what really happens for season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes as we continue to review Miami Vice here on Extreme Movie Show.
Situational comedy, but for the most part, it's very serious. But it's not so serious where you just want to I'm done with this. Because this is not Law and Order. This is your kids saying, "Screw Law and Order. I want something that's entertaining," and that's what this was. This is Miami Vice. So, definitely check it out. There is 5 seasons. And we probably won't reveal all the seasons, but we're interested to see how the reception is for this first season. Maybe we'll come back for the second season.
Oh, we'll definitely be doing the second season. Are you kidding me? That's probably the best season, just in terms of sheer firepower and song and really knowing what they are. Remember, the show's still finding its groove. Because remember, this didn't get picked up until it was the fact that it got replayed. I think not once. Honestly, I think it might have gotten replayed twice. Because usually you would have a show in the fall, and then if it might stand up for something in January after Christmas time. So in, say, January of 85, they would play these episodes. And then in the summer, you'd have another couple months, you'd play them all over again. And at that point, that's when it got hot. So everybody was like foaming at the mouth for season 2 because it got hot. Yeah. On its first run, it was not popular, but it just got word of mouth. And then there's this vibe thing with it, man.
I was just saying, man, if you're not used to watching TV or a kid all day, you're not going to be watching TV, whatever. This could be on. But once you caught an episode of this, you're like, wow. You watch another one? Wow. Why? I don't know how this could not have blown up right away. When I can think of it, if you're playing at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday, kids are out for the weekend, especially high schoolers, seniors, juniors, they're out heading up. Especially if you're on a party area like Florida down there, everyone's out on the town. Everyone's cruising, everyone's hanging out. It's pretty crazy. So
Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, RDV and I will be live with an action movie to review, and then Wednesday night it'll be 9 p.m. Eastern, where the young 20-something Professor Pix and I will be continuing Columbo's season 4. I believe it's episode 5 or 6.
5. I think you're at 5 now.
Yeah, it sounds right.
I think you guys are actually as we do 5, you do, or you guys do 5, then we do 5 here.
Right, and and ours is a 2-parter, so that's why the number was off. Yeah, because of the movie with Miami Vice. Yeah. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thank you for the retweets and letting everybody know that we exist. Miami Vice is pretty popular. Love, based off your feedback, to continue doing this here with RDV next Sunday night. Until then, good night now.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Alrighty. Not much people kind of clicking in or clicking off, so I don't know. Maybe this will just be a sleeper. And it'll hit.
It's already at like 50.
Is it really?
Yeah, at least the vertical. I don't know about the other one. I was just putting it on customization. I already saw 47. or 50 or whatever it was. Yeah. 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 The vertical's at 47 right now. Not bad.
I noticed you guys said, I think it was Colombo or one of the years. Oh no, that's what it was. I'm thinking of. It was
Colombo did good. Shelter did decent too.
Shelter is the one that blew up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the reason I think it is too is not because they're pushing, but also the fact that a lot more people watch everything on. Oh, we're still live? What the heck?
I don't know. I'm seeing it counting.